back to another episode of Pinal's People. Our guest today is Sergeant Violet Maestas. Along with being an Eloy police officer, Violet is also the organizer of the Suicide Prevention Walk in Eloy, the First Responders Charity Ball, and the annual Eloy 5K run through her nonprofit, the Sparrow Campaign. Violet, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So to get started, for our viewers who may not be familiar with you and your work and your nonprofit, can you share a little bit about yourself and your journey?
So in regards to the nonprofit, it actually was established my 501c3 in 2019. And the efforts actually started in 2015 after graduating the Hispanic Leadership Institute that was hosted by Valle del Sol, and it was actually hosted at the Central Arizona College. And so one of the things that we left with was creating our own service projects. So at the time I was very into the running circuit, 5Ks and 10Ks, and I was like, I really love health and wellness. So it's something that would make everybody feel good, not only on a physical but mentally type of field. So I created a 5K that would raise funds for the food pantries in Eloy, that being the cause, the fundraising being the cause that I, at the time, was definitely into and wanted to make a difference. So not knowing where to start, I did partner up with the Veterans Center, and I met Sonetta Chaput at the time, and she's now Sonetta Cherry. And she was the coordinator at the Veterans Center, and so she gave me such an insight on how things work in regards to starting an event and those type of things. So got together and had a successful 5K. We raised money for both pantries, the Veterans Center and the Santa Cruz Valley Food Pantry. And so just wanting to dig in and keep helping. The next year we did the 5K again, and then we added what we called is the Eloy Schools Hunger Awareness Field Day. And so basically it was the same kind of idea, not a fundraising event, basically just for the kids. And we were able to bring in the Eloy Intermediate School and the Eloy Junior High, bring them together, put some obstacle courses together on the field, let them run through. They can get, we had shirts and medals to give to them, and we had prizes that we gave away, things like that. I think the biggest part of that event was bringing swag bags. So basically we were able to fill the bags with resources that were available in the community for the families that are poverty stricken or just in general needed some extra help. And so that was a good way of getting this information to the families, to the homes, because in turn we saw an uptick in people applying for services and those things. And so it was about 600 students on average, and that along with the 5K we've continued to do every year. In 2020 we had to shut down obviously for COVID, and then 2021 we just kind of didn't do anything. Try to do the virtual thing, and that kind of doesn't work with the 5K, not the kind that we have here. And so it just kept going. And so because COVID hit right after I established the nonprofit, so in 2019, and it kind of just made me have to work a little harder, figure new ways out of how to get things done, and so the struggle was real there. And so just moving forward, we were able to continue in 2022, bring the 5K back and the school awareness field day back. And just backing up a little, in 2018, we had an officer here that was having some medical health issues, and in order to help, we did just out of our own, we did car washes and fundraisers and barbecues, things so we can raise some money. And so that's the idea where the First Responders Ball came up, and it just kind of took off from there. It's just another event that we added. So basically, causes that were close to my heart that I felt that I had the potential or the ability to create something that was successful, I went after that. And it's just me adding branches to my tree, basically, or feathers to a bird, however you want to look at it. And so that's how the charity ball came about. And I took the opportunity to use that event to identify first responders in the area who are going above and beyond and getting recognized, and they would get awards. In 2019, when I established and I hope it doesn't confuse anybody just going back and forth at the time, but in 2019, after establishing the 501c3, We did lose a close friend of ours, Detective Sharonda Dean. She passed away in January. And so to honor her at the charity ball, we got together and we created an award calling Sharonda Dean Spirit Memorial Award. And so it basically encompasses a person, a law enforcement officer, and it could attribute to a firefighter, any first responder basically, who goes above and beyond for their victims and is active in the community and does exactly what they say they're going to do and protect those that can't protect themselves. And so adding that to the awards was very important to us. A true friend, something that we could honor her by. So we did that. And so moving along. Last year was our first suicide awareness walk. And it's tricky because it's not a fundraising event, but you want to make sure you have adequate resources for everybody, sponsors and things of that nature, and we had good sponsors. And the way that I look at that event is being able to involve the community, especially the ones that have lost somebody to suicide, letting them know that there's people out here that clearly support them, and just because your loved one is gone, and just because it is to suicide, that you can still say their name and you can still honor them. So that's what that was about. And it was, a vigil was included, so it was like a walk. Everybody got shirts and resources that day, and memorial banners were made for the loved ones lost to suicide, and we had a vigil and sang a song, that type of thing, and pretty much honored them, and then it was pretty much, the event was over. I love the fact that how we were able to come together as a community to show that support. Personally, I lost my son to suicide, so that's kind of where that created the idea. How do I put this? I take it seriously in the fact that it's such a serious situation that I don't want to make light of anything, but I definitely want people to understand that I'm supporting them, and I'm also being supported by knowing that there's it's like a healing journey on my own. So it's a give and take, but it's not about just saying the story over and over again. For me, it's trying to find a solution. And I've always said that I don't like to hear the complaining out there in the world. I'd rather be at the table trying to find solutions. So to me, I think that that's a positive direction. So this year, so last year was at the junior high. We did around the junior high, the intermediate, that whole block right there of the schools in Eloy. But this year, we're going to do it at the Santa Cruz High School. And when I tell you the way that they opened their arms to the idea and getting all the youth leadership involved, that is something that I think is important. If we can just start getting the information to the younger generation, which we see the increase of suicide right now, then I feel like we can at least try and give those ideas out to the kids and let them know that there's resources, there's ways to go, there's other ways to look at it, or there's signs that you can see in your friends that you might have not noticed before. And just start being aware of these things. It's not about being self-centered or I don't know how to explain that, but it's not about moving forward just being self-centered. It's about being aware of your surroundings and looking around you and seeing who you can help out. So that's basically, and hopefully I didn't go on a tangent too much, but so that's kind of what I do. And it's really neat to see that this year we have all of our events planned. We're moving forward. We just had the charity ball March 30th. It was such a success. It was great. And I like to say it's like a first responder adult prom because everybody gets dressed up, and I'm hoping for next year's to be just as involved and happy, and I'm already come up with different themes. And so, I don't know, maybe I like to plan parties, I don't know, but I had a lot of fun doing it. So, and then September 7th is the Suicide Awareness Walk for this year. The 5K is October 12th, and then the Eloy's Hunger Awareness Field Day, the school field day, is November 21st, and of course that's for staff and students only. But the good thing is that also is being held at the high school. Like I said, they are open arms they are all about bridging those gaps and enlightening the youth leadership to be the example for the rest of the student body, so that they can also see that they could be a part of this, everything, in regards to whether it's student support, also being student leadership, becoming student leadership, and just trying to make those leaps and bounds to newer avenues and to broaden their horizons, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it makes a lot of sense. And, what an incredible story. And, I just want to recognize you. So, Violet, I would love if you could share a little bit about what got you into law enforcement.
So my foundation starts in the Department of Corrections, and I learned a lot while I was there. I thought it was really interesting how the structure of leadership and just support in general, what that takes. And for me, I learned like all the different positions there, and actually I had a good time learning that. I saw that I had better potential moving my skill and what I could do to law enforcement or to the police department. And so there I was putting in for the police department. I became a detention officer and also a communications officer. So that in itself is also an added foundation to what I do now, because I learned how to speak to people who are having a crisis right away and try to get as much information as I can and not like take my time with it. That it was urgent. If it's urgent to somebody calling me, it's urgent to me to get somebody to them and get their help. And that carried with me into patrol and anything else that I've done here, because I've been an investigator, and I've done like so many different investigations and whatnot. So it kind of started there, but I felt like I could do more, and so I just kept keep going and pushing and pushing and going to the next door, going through the next door, and then just, wherever it takes me, I'm glad to go. I feel like it's just something that I was meant to do. And I love Eloy. I'm from Eloy. I have a lot of family here, a lot of friends here. I grew up here, and it's good. It's a good feeling to know that you're helping somebody that you know, even, or just a victim in general, somebody who needed that help, that they couldn't get the help themselves, and I was able to do that for them. It feels good. And so that's kind of what keeps me going. And every now and then, you get bogged down with paperwork and all this, the reality of everything. But at the end of the day, if I can go home and I can tell you I have the best job in the world. And I'm out. I could retire already, and I haven't yet, and everybody keeps asking me about it. And honestly, I just don't know. I just don't know there are a lot of options out there. I don't know what the world has for me, and I'm casting a net, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I definitely love what I do, and I don't know what else to say.
No, absolutely. I loved that. You can definitely see the passion in your voice. It's incredible. So as we've talked about before, Sergeant, you're incredibly involved in the community. We talked about your nonprofit, all of the events that are kind of under that banner of the nonprofit as well, like the 5K, the First Responders Ball. Mm-hmm. And as I understand it, you were even recently the commencement speaker.
That's tomorrow.
That is tomorrow, yes.
Yeah, I've been working on the speech, and it's funny because I've worked the last couple weeks before this weekend that just passed. I was working some decent amount of overtime and covering shifts, so every now and then something would happen, and I'd be, ooh, that's a good note. So then I'd write it down, and then I get down to writing my draft, and I'm like, well, I don't want to say that, and then it just, so like, my main purpose is to focus on them and to make sure they know that they're seen, they are supported, and I pray to God that they reach the heights of the dreams that they ever think, that they are hoping to aspire to. I'm excited to see what these kids are going to bring. And maybe I should say young adults, but they surprised me. They were the COVID generation. They started their high school career as the COVID generation. And we hear so much about it, but I gotta tell you, they are the best to come out of it. This senior class is 100% graduating. And you rarely hear about that. Usually it's like a 98%, maybe even less, 70, but to have the high school have a full 100% graduating senior class, that's pretty awesome. And I commend the staff and everybody that took the time to help them get to where they're going. And I definitely commend the kids, because I got to say that struggle must have been pretty hard for them. And I hope that all the things that they went through helps them in the struggles that they're going to face and moving on to their next step, whether it be college, military, some type of entrepreneurship or those type of things. We got a life to live, and it's one of those cycles that I really do feel that the struggles are just part of life, and I feel like we can go through them and cycle through them and hopefully learn something from them and just keep moving forward and use that when we go to our next adventure.
Yeah. And Sergeant, I'd love to ask you, of all the things you're doing and that you've done, what motivates you to stay so involved in the community?
I have a really strong faith, and I feel like that's just my job. I feel like it took I can't say I came out the box like that. It took a lot of learning. It took a lot of seeing what people go through to understand how cruel the world can be, and even my own tragedy. And the motivation is that you could not help yourself out, and you could blame everybody else around you. Or you could be part of the solution and get out there and keep moving, do something about it, and do the best you can with that. That's what motivates me, is that there's always something that can be done. And I don't believe that we're going to run out of things to do. I just think that people run out of motivation and inspiration, and I feel like sometimes their energy is low. And I don't want to be that person. I want to keep moving. I want to keep making a difference. And wherever I end up, I promise you I'll be making a difference. I will continue to push forward and make a difference.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So Violet, I would love if I could get your input on this. This is something we've been asking a lot of our guests to reflect on that have come on the show. And I'm really interested to hear what you have to say about this, which is, when you think about everything you've achieved, everything you're continuing to achieve, and what you've overcome and what you're continuing to overcome, and you think about that journey and that story, and you think about other people reflecting on it down the line, what do you hope they take away from it?
I hope that they take away that they're able to do anything they see other people doing in regards to solving problems and being successful. I don't believe that success belongs to any one type of person or economic status or anything like that. I believe that everybody has it in them. They just have to get up and go do it. And what I've learned a lot, that what's shown itself to me, is that you can think of all the ideas that you want, but the only thing that's going to make things happen is actually doing them. Actually going out there and taking the step to do it. It might take a while, but definitely take the step. Start taking the step towards the goals that you've set for yourself, and you'll get there. It's going to be in your time, in the sense of what you're going to put your best foot forward in regards to which step it is that you're going to take. But I do hope that people take away that, as a person, that I did try hard, and I'm compassionate about the community. And again, it doesn't belong to the one set type of person. Like, nobody has. When I meet people, it doesn't matter what I'm looking at or why I'm there, whatever. Everybody gets my respect and love in that sense. So hopefully people can understand or not understand, but I hope people want to also be aware of their surroundings, want to help other people, and just humble yourself to see what's around you and to recognize the reality that we're living in right now.
Yeah, that's incredible. And then just one last question for you, Sergeant. And this is another one that we've been making our mission to ask all our guests.
I'm hoping I'm answering these okay.
You are. No, I think that there's a lot of real lessons that I think can be taken away. And this is, across the board with all our guests. But, our mission is to kind of ask these different questions, because I think the people in our community have so much wisdom to pass on. And so, I'm incredibly excited to ask you this. But if you were to imagine many, many years from now, A future where you've accomplished everything you could have, everything you set out to accomplish when it came to your nonprofit, when it came to giving back, when it came to your career as a sergeant and a member of the law enforcement community. And you think about all of the goals you've set out to accomplish, and you think about a future where you've done all of those things. What does that future look like to you?
If I could just help one person, that's all. I don't, it'd be nice to change the world in the way that I'd love to, peace and happiness and just what the normal person would say. But if I could just help one person not to commit suicide, one person to get on their own 2 feet and to know that they're strong enough to succeed, to support their families, one person to graduate from college and be the first one in their family. That's what I want to see. I want to see a success of just one person, and that would be enough for me.
That's incredible. Violet, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.